my friend. Today we're going to talk about time blocking for your business. And I know that sounds like a super sexy topic, but you know what is really, really sexy about time blocking is it means when we sit down to work, we know what to do, when we're going to do it, when to stop doing it, so that we can be more successful in our business and then also be able to be present with our family or our hobbies or our non-work life. We're not always thinking about like, when am I supposed to be doing whatever I am supposed to be doing? So my goal for this video is that you'll be able to just know what to do, like be able to set yourself up to know what to do and when to do it. And I'm not going to teach you this with the intention of doing more, but I'm going to walk through practical steps that are just going to help you to be more organized with your time and not biting off more than you can chew. Now, when you hear something that's helpful, drop it in the comments because that helps me to know what I should keep creating content on. What we're going to do is we're going to walk through like a step-by-step of how to block off time. I'm going to do a live demo. I'm going to actually show you my schedule for this week that I time blocked just to give you a real life example. Second, what activities need to be in your calendar. And then at the end, I'm going to cover the secret to staying consistent with all your revenue generation. So if you like this video, you will probably like learning more about our What to Say coaching program, which is where we help people with their client journey, what to do each week, and what to say so people buy. So if you want to learn more about that, just drop coaching in the comments and then let's go ahead and jump in. Now, when I first started my entrepreneurial journey, I was 20 years old. I was selling Cutco knives and we had 3 days of like half days of training. 3.5 days of training. On the second day, they taught us how to time block, and they gave us this piece of paper, and they were like, okay, so the first thing that you need to do is you need to put in all your stuff that you already have to do. So we would do that. And then you'd circle your appointment times, and then you would write in when you were going to make calls to set up the appointments. And they typically recommended like 2 to 3 chunks per week, recommended having a couple days off for fun, like where you didn't do anything. And it was really, really helpful. I took this into my senior year of college and I was able to manage working kind of a lot and then also taking 20 units at that time. And it helped me a ton. And then I just like took this into everything that I did moving forward, right? Obviously, like I was a direct sales leader for a while, so I time blocked my own thing. By that time, I had graduated from the piece of paper to the planner pad, which is what I still use now. So for the past 24 years, I've been using the planner pad and took that into my corporate career and was always able to get all the things done that our directors wanted us to get done. And I felt organized. I felt calm. I was able to work on projects. I was able to do my daily tasks. And this gave me a lot of confidence going into entrepreneurship because I knew how to manage my time. And one of the biggest problems is that a lot of people come into entrepreneurship, they just haven't learned this. Like, where would you learn this skill? My kids are kind of different because like I'm their mom, so I make them time block and I teach them these things but where would you learn this, right? When you go to school, they're like, here's your schedule. Now this is time blocking, but they don't ask you to do it. They're just like, you go to this class and you do your homework. And then you get into a corporate job and they're like, you come in at this time and then from this time you do this and then this and then this, right? And you're just kind of, responding to fires in a corporate job a lot of times. And so most people are not taught this. But what this does is really helps us to make sure we don't bite off more than we could chew. Keeps us organized and budgeted. And so let's go ahead and just like jump in to the different steps. And I'm going to actually do a live demo here. Now, one of the big questions before we get into this is like, do I use a paper planner or do I use Google Calendar? So for time blocking, this isn't one of the steps, but what I'm going to say is what I actually do is I actually do my time blocking in Google Calendar. And the reason I do it is because of recurring tasks, which I'll show you, or recurring blocks, which I'll show you here in a minute. And then I transfer everything Thursday the week before to my planner pad because psychologically, when you write down, you're more likely to do it. I'm not going to keep opening up Google Calendar all the time. I'll go crazy. I'll get distracted. But I need to have stuff in Google Calendar because my business partner needs to see it. Clients need to be able to schedule stuff. My kids need to know if they can come into my office or if I'm on a call or not. So I think that the right answer is both. generally. We do have people that use exclusively Google Calendar. We have people that use exclusively paper. But what I will say is, as an entrepreneur, paper only means you are likely to miss stuff because you'll forget to put stuff into your planner. Where when you use Google Calendar, and I'm going to show you recurring stuff, that is going to help you to make sure that you don't forget that that thing exists. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into step one. Step one is to open up a Google Calendar. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to put in all of my personal stuff. One of the best parts about being an entrepreneur is that we have a flexible schedule. Now, flexible doesn't mean I work when I want to work. It means like a moody thing. Flexibility means I can move my time blocks around other stuff. So for example, during the school year, I work from 8 to 5. During the summer, I have just found out last week, based on my kids' volleyball schedule, I'm going to need to work 7 to 4. And the truth is, I'm more likely to work 7 to 5 because I think I'm going to have to like go here at 10 o'clock and go here at 12 o'clock. And so that's going to, adjust my schedule. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my personal stuff. So right now, we need to leave here 5:15 for Haley's volleyball. So I'm going to put in Haley's volleyball, and then I'm going to go to the gym. Gym. I'm going to repeat this custom every Tuesday and Thursday until August 1st, right? And then school starts. So I'm going to save that there. So that's one thing personal that I need to do, which means I have to make dinner. And I actually have to block this in my schedule because my scheduler will let people schedule stuff during this time. Okay, so I have that is my personal stuff. We'll just leave it there. I'm not going to put my whole kids' schedule in there. But like I might have, Zoe and I have a youth event that they want to go to. So we're going to do that this Saturday. So I'm going to block off the personal things that I need to do for the week. So that's the first thing. So things like exercise, driving kids, making dinner, my own basketball, right? That's going to be important. Okay. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the non-negotiables that are daily. So the strategy that I am going to line out for you here today is going to be if you're doing like Facebook networking and then maybe running a Facebook group. So I'm going to start here 7:30, right? Because I have to finish early. And I'm going to do Facebook growth strategy. I'm going to make this repeat Monday through Friday. And that'll be that. And then I can put in the description, the different tasks, right? Accept friend requests, send friend requests, comment on posts, etc. Right? I'm not going to do all of that right here, but I'm going to do this. And so you'll see this will time block this time. So I know every day at 7:30, I'm going to have my oatmeal, have some tea, and I'm going to do this, turn on the music, and I'm going to do this task. Now here, for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to do Facebook group content. Actually, I'm going to do this a different way. I'm going to do it the way I actually do it. So I might here do brainstorm content for the week, and I'm going to do this on Mondays. On Tuesdays, I'm going to record a group video, and I'm going to repeat this on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, I'm going to write story posts and call to action, and I'm going to repeat this on Wednesdays. And so this is how I can go about scheduling my time with the different things that are recurring consistently. And so I can keep going and keep doing this with all of the non-negotiables in my business. I'm going to give them actual time blocks. Maybe I have like my coaching call, like with our group coaching or what to say. Maybe you do the Wednesday weekly call. So I have the coaching call. And then what I always recommend after coaching is coaching implementation. You actually block that off so that you can do the action items and get them off your plate instead of in your brain. This is a pro tip that I've always been able to do in order to make the maximum return on investment with all of my coaching is I block off the time to do the coaching and then to implement the things. I always have a block there. So these are some examples for doing the non-negotiables. That's step 3. And step 4, then there's the weekly stuff. So we did daily non-negotiables and we did weekly stuff. And then I'm going to put in projects. So let's say this week I need to plan next week's workshop. So I'm going to put in plan next month's workshop, right? I'm going to do the planner. And this is probably going to be like week by week, right? Then maybe on this day, I'm going to make the sales page, etc. for the workshop. I'm going to save that. So I'm going to put in all of the projects that I need to do. And I'm just going to like keep doing that as I go through the week. Now, one really helpful pro tip is to make sure you have a buffer. Sometimes we over time block and we don't have actually time for the normal to-do list, or like if something takes longer. So I recommend about an hour buffer. And then of course, we're going to make sure that we go on lunch and we walk our dogs. That's very, very important, except in the summer, I guess we can't really walk our dogs that much. And so this makes sure that we're like, okay, I have some structure to my schedule. I know what to do, when I'm going to do it. Now, of course, here I'm using just a very standard like 7:30 to 4 o'clock schedule. I know that yours are going to look different. This is how I work. So I just figured this would be the easiest example to go ahead and do. Now, if you'd like this is what my actual schedule looks like this upcoming week. And I'll just go ahead and walk you through like some of the weird things that I do. I have time in the morning to start working on some of my tasks. I'm currently recording a video and this meeting got pushed back like 15 minutes. So I'm not late for that meeting. And I have a couple of meetings here, and we need to get ready for our next challenge. And I have coaching calls. I have preparation for the coaching calls. That's always going to take me an hour. So I'm going to block that off so I don't end up over leveraging myself on a day. And so we see all of my client appointments are in yellow. Anything that creates sales appointments, or like creating sales materials, I put in green. So that makes sure that I have a healthy amount of sales activity in my schedule, even though most of my job is coaching. And then I have other stuff blocked out, right? And then we eat, we take the dogs for a walk. Super important to do both of those things. Now, as you guys go to time block, there's a few places you might get stuck. Number one, finding that you want to do more than your time budget allows. This is how I feel every single week. My ideas are greater than my time resources. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to prioritize the things that are going to generate the most amount of revenue and or the highest amount of client success. I'm going to look at what is my return on time investment. The things take longer than your time block is also something normal. And so this is called the time estimation fallacy. And so we tend to block off the amount of time, hope something is going to take. So I hope this is going to take 30 minutes, but every day it actually takes 45. So what'll happen is you'll calibrate after a few weeks, and that will be okay. Some of us might have a very regimented path, and this might create some, I guess, triggers for us. You're not trapped by your time block. Remember, you're the boss of your schedule. And so if I come in here and I need to move something, right? Like the kids need a ride here, I can just like move this block somewhere if I need to. So it's not really like to this, I could put here if I wanted to. I obviously can't do that after the group coaching call. So you're not trapped by your schedule. Sometimes people feel trapped, and if they don't do it exactly, they failed. And I just think that that's really just like, that's too much. We're just kind of get to like, what am I supposed to do about when am I supposed to do it? You also may forget to time block. So you actually have to time block the time blocking for the future week. And so you will see on here, Thursday at 4 o'clock, I have make next week's schedule. Now, what you'll see here is now this is in conflict. And so I'm just going to move this up here to the top for the week. And that is how I operate in flexibility. And that's why these recurring tasks are so important, is because it helps us to manage things around everything else that's going on. Okay, so I'm going to do a real quick review. Number one, put in your personal stuff so you aren't caught off guard. Number two, block off your non-negotiables, first your daily ones, then your weekly ones. And then the third thing is put in your projects or anything else that you need to do for that given week. I hope this has been helpful for you. And if it has, make sure you leave me a note down below so I know to make more of this kind of stuff. And if you like this video, you are probably going to love our What to Say group coaching program. And this is where Karen and I specifically guide all of our clients through their client journeys, a weekly plan, and what to say so people buy. And if that sounds like a breath of fresh air to you, then just go ahead and comment coaching and we can connect so that you can learn more. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon.